Different start to this video. August 25th, 2017 changed the course of history for a lot of people. We lost an icon that day. We lost an individual who was a trailblazer, a man way ahead of his time, where came from nothing and figured it all out on his own. Rich Piana passed away 5 years ago. Some of you know him as One Day You May. That was his Instagram name. It was also his name in different parts of his life. But if you knew him, you knew him as Rich Piana. You know, the purpose of the video is to let you guys know a little insight as to why it's tough for me every year. Even though, you know, we weren't best of friends, you know, I didn't know him like Viking. I didn't know him like a few other people. But the few times that I interacted with him, I will tell you, you know, he gave me knowledge that just, it was meaningful, and it had a purpose and a reason for it. And the one story that, you know, I will share with you is, well, I got a couple, and I'll try to keep it short. First and foremost, Chaos Nutrition was started in large part to become a reseller for 5% Nutrition. I did sell other products. I did sell other brand names like Ronnie Coleman, MTS Nutrition with Mark Lobliner, Big J's Extreme Fitness, to name a few. But my main goal was to bring 5% Nutrition here to the desert Southwest, and we did it in a big way. We were such a success early on that the powers that be of 5% Nutrition called me and asked me to please take the products off our website, because at that time 5% was in its infancy and my website was just, you know, kicking ass, and we had surpassed them a little bit in sales, and we were just doing our damn thing. Now, if you remember back then, the burlap sack shirts, and sometimes the printing would be wrong. A lot of times the website would crash, and it was mainly because there was an overwhelming amount of people that wanted the product, that wanted to be a part of the movement, and it just really bogged down the system where they just couldn't keep up. So we helped out. My buddy Dave and I, big shout out to Dave, we sold out of our cars, man. We were like the old UFC guys that were selling t-shirts out of our cars. We literally did whatever it took because we knew this product was a hot seller, and it had meaning to it, and we knew it would take off. I remember getting shipments and pallets, and have them delivered to Dave's house and my house, and putting them in our backpacks and going to the gym with them. I mean, anywhere we could. It was just, we couldn't keep the stuff in stock. It was amazing. This was about 2015, 2016, and Chaos Nutrition was born in that sense to, like I said, bring 5% to the Valley. I really believed in it wholeheartedly. I was a little older, a little fluffier, a little bit of, you know, after my prime days to be a sponsored athlete, so I contributed the best I could. A lot of people thought I was sponsored. I let them roll with it. Didn't hurt anybody. But I was a reseller for Rich. I then bumped into Big C, and it was a post about Mother's Day. Had nothing to do with really anything besides the 5% mentality and how his mom was staying on track, you know. And even till this day, I get choked up, but even till this day, his mom follows me. And we share stories about Trump and all kinds of stuff. And it's just, you know, it's always been that family atmosphere. You know, Caleb, Big C, called me and he goes, you know, you're going to need an Instagram. And I go, no, I'm not interested. He goes, you're going to need an Instagram for Chaos Nutrition and all this other stuff. And I had no idea even what a hashtag was. So we embarked on a journey to get the social media system going. And Caleb was phenomenal with it. He knew exactly what to do. He put me in the right places, and he groomed me behind the scenes to do some things, not only just for 5%, but for myself, that I never even, you know, could imagine until just recently. And that's the whole honest to God truth. Then came along Big Mark, who since then has become my best friend, a mentor to me, someone who's formulated for me, that knows the game, super brilliant guy. You would never know by the tattoos and the brawniness and his character, but guy's got a bigger heart than most people I've ever known. And without Caleb and without Big Mark, I would have never met Rich Piana. So you fast forward a little bit to the Anaheim Expo. They asked me to come out. They asked me to meet Rich. And, you know, I brought my team. I brought the little crew that we had of Chaos Nutrition. And immediately we were brought behind the ropes. Met Rich. Rich geared us out in 5% gear. And, you know, I took off our Chaos Nutrition stuff for him. And then we were invited over to lift with him over at Metroflex in Long Beach, and we shot a YouTube video all together, and then it just kind of started from there. It just snowballed, and we just took off together, just embarking on a journey that was just so epic. And I really had no idea what we were going to do, what was going on, until the next story that I want to share with you is I'd missed the time period to fly out to Ohio. Didn't really know if I was going to make it. This is March of 2017 for the Arnold. And, you know, I jumped in my SUV. I packed it full of supplements, packed it full of clothes, and just drove out to Ohio from California. And, or no, from Arizona. And I never would have known that would have been the last time I'd see Rich. But we had a phenomenal weekend. You know, I was reluctant to kind of be the line mover, taking Rich's picture with fans and supporters. And we exchanged a lot of, I guess you could say banter, a lot of thoughts throughout that time period, because, you know, there's downtime. And I remember one case in point, Rich was hungry as hell, I was hungry, and I'd asked him if he wanted a chicken bowl, just something simple. And he grabbed me by the shoulder and he goes, "Rob, you know, no one really ever asks how I'm doing. So thank you for at least reaching out and seeing if I was hungry, because, you know, I'm kind of the one that no one ever really worries about." And that hit me pretty hard, because it was just you know, something simple like, "Hey, you know, Rich, I'm going to grab a chicken bowl." And then we had a conversation Sunday night before I left and came back to Arizona, where I really felt he let me have it. He let me know what was up. And he dropped knowledge on me, where he basically, and I've never told this story except to a few people, "Rob, why do you want to be a sponsored athlete? You have so much more to give than just being an athlete. You've already been an athlete in your time. You know, you're a football player, you've done hockey, you've done all kinds of sports, you coach. I could easily add you to the team, but what is that going to provide? What is it going to do for you?" And I really didn't have an answer at that point. He goes, "You're bigger than that." He goes, "There's something bigger for you that you need to do." And he goes, "I'm telling you to take Chaos Nutrition and start your own line and go." And I go, "No." I go, not while you're here. Not while you're doing your thing. It wouldn't make any sense to be your competition, for one. And number two, I love all the products that you have. I don't really see me making a product that's going to be superior or could even compete. And he goes, "That's where I need you to start believing in yourself and understanding that I don't need athletes to stay forever. I want them to be here for a short period of time, and then I want them to go out and do their own thing, and I want them to be successful and carry on the mindset of doing whatever it takes to fucking reach your goals." And that's where it hit me. And I said, you know, he's got a point. I put it on the back burner, though, because I still had that loyalty to Rich and the 5%, where I couldn't step out, you know. I'd been hit up by a few other companies to rep them, and it just didn't feel right. And it's no disrespect to the companies. It was just, Rich was larger than life. Rich was someone I kind of got to know. Rich was someone that gave me an opportunity to do things I had never thought I could do in the industry. And he made everyone feel a part. That's one thing about Rich. He always made everyone feel a part of. And so, with that being said, you know, there was a time period in August when Rich fell, injured himself, and a lot of uncertainty as to what was going on with 5%. A lot of uncertainty that was going on with his health. And luckily I had some inside sources like Caleb and some people that were close to him like Big Mark and Viking and so on and so forth. And I really didn't want to reach out to anyone because it was really kind of none of my business. But it was close to me because here's a guy that had done so much for me in different ways. I didn't really know how to take it until I got a phone call in the middle of the night from Caleb letting me know that Rich passed. And I'll never forget it. It was a moment of just pure silence where it was like, wow, you know, you never would know that an icon like that would stop the crowd, would just, you know, part crowds, man, when he would walk into an expo. And his presence was just so amazing. Touched so many lives, man. Was gone. And just like that in an instant. And a few months later, kind of went on. 5% had to make some tough choices. They had a lot of athletes on board. They had to make decisions because, of course, sales weren't there. You know, Rich was a big part of what they were doing as far as sales, and he just wasn't there to carry that load. So they made some decisions, and ultimately probably wasn't the right decision, but it was the decision that was made, you know, and in business that sometimes happens. So they cut a lot of their athletes, and I took a few on, and we embarked on a journey. Big Mark called me one night out of the blue, and I would interview him and bring him on for this, but as some of you know, he's battling cancer right now, and he's going through surgery in Texas to alleviate himself of it, and he's fighting. And our thoughts and prayers are with Big Mark. But Big Mark calls me and he goes, "Hey Rob," he goes, "you know, I know how to do this formulation stuff. Why don't you take Chaos Nutrition to another level and let's lose this reseller stuff and let's embark on a journey to sell our own supplement line called Chaos Nutrition." And I go, "Wow." And he goes, "You know what we're going to start with, right?" And I go, "No." He goes, "We're going to start with a pre-workout. It's going to be basic fruit punch." And it's going to be called Chaotic. And I go, "Holy shit." And he goes, "Next up the bat is rehab. We're going to have rehab BCAAs." I kind of came up with Resurrection Way. But we each kind of, through the talks, and I mean hours and days of talking, and, you know, him really get to know my family. And that's where we were. That's what some people don't understand. Is that behind the scenes, there were people like Caleb that was pushing, and there was Martin Ford that was texting, and I stayed in touch with Paulo and a bunch of other 5%ers, and we embarked on a journey. And it was a time period, you know, and I don't want to bore you with a long video here, but just I'm finally letting it out, and I'm letting people know that, you know, we had a goal, we had a vision, but we were very young and we were self-funded, and it was tough. Oftentimes, much like 5%, you know, things with stock and issues with, you know, apparel and trying to make ends meet. And we brought on some big names, and we couldn't really, you know, carry the names, but we did what we did, and we did what we could, all the while competing and trying to make a name and finding our way, and staying viable. And so over the past 5 years that Chaos Nutrition has been in business, I've kept the business with one thing in mind, and that's remembering Rich, and instilling the value system that he put in place of, you know, getting out there, doing whatever the fuck it takes to reach your goals, and then adding my own twist to everything with staying ride or die for yours, and keeping your circle tight, and to create chaos and to get some order out of the chaos and all that good stuff. And here we are. And today I don the 5% gear that I once wore every single day, in memory of Rich, and that's what I do. It's to pay homage to the guy that was a pioneer and a visionary, way, like I said in the beginning, beyond his time. And so now that we add a few more 5%ers, like I have been over the past couple weeks, you can really see a change in Chaos Nutrition. We have our staples, you know, Goliath. We have Blondie Babe. We have Jessica. You know, I have Celtic Warrior. Just, you know, Yoga Pants Queen. What a phenomenal individual. We're talking someone that just gives you a shirt off her back. Ride or die for us, man, and came aboard in our infancy. And then, you know, Kashmir Maharaj, who just took us to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Like, and she's still here putting in work, and while she's traveling, she's still repping, and it blows my mind. And so, you know, we had Chris Smith, who was a big part of 5% with her daughter. And I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but there's some big news coming tomorrow. And I didn't even understand the timing of it. Like, if you ask a few people that I'm near and dear with, especially even Chris, you know, we didn't plan this. And then tomorrow we have such a big announcement. And, you know, we owe it to Rich, and we're gonna keep his name going in that regard. And so that's why Chaos Nutrition reflects so much of 5% nutrition, because it's intertwined, right? I mean, that's the red and black, the whole theme of it. Now, the red, black, and white kind of stems from me as a kid. Like, I know it sounds kind of funky at 45 to talk about scouting, but I'm an Eagle Scout, man. And shout out to all the Eagle Scouts out there. But in my younger years, our Scout Troop 147 back in New York our colors were red, black, and white. And if you're a Bulls fan, man, you grew up with red, black, and white. And it was just one of those colors that stuck with me. And so to pay homage to even 5% with Rich, you know, I kept those colors in line, and not to, you know, not to just mock it, not to just, you know, kind of go along with it, but more or less like to keep it going. And I'm very proud that we can do that. And that's, you know, even carrying the colors is a big deal for me. So when you see it on our shirts, when you see it on our hats, you're paying a little homage to Rich. You're paying a little homage to those that paved the way for us to be here. So I hope you guys know that and understand it. Much different than other companies. It's because we were just intertwined from the beginning. And like I said, having Rich's blessing before he passed is a big deal to me, and I never really shared it. Caleb knows, and Big Mark knows, and a few other people. But when he told me to go do your own thing, it didn't really dawn upon me until a few years later, where it was like he really saw it, you know. And so to those that are coming aboard, I want you to understand what it means to be a part of Chaos Nutrition, our lineage, our heritage, and where it goes back to, and our early beginnings, because it's super important. And so if you're a 5%er, and you know, you've been with 5%, maybe you weren't, maybe you're a supporter. There are companies out here that still carry Rich's legacy, and we don't have to steal any shine from 5% Nutrition. Kudos to them for staying alive and vibrant and carrying Rich's name. We just want to do it respectfully from a distance, where we carry on for him in our way, okay? But not stepping on anyone's toes, and really don't even want to be in competition with them. I just feel like we're all in this shit together, right? Like Rich used to say. And we're on the same mission, as far as there's a lot of money to be made in the business, and we could all take a piece of the pie and be respectful. And that's where I am with it. So you'll see me comment on 5%'s pages once in a while. You know, I hope you know that's acceptable. Even if it's not, we're gonna do it just because it's for Rich's sake, man. So anyways, like today, you know, I commented. So I'm digressing a little bit, getting at my thoughts. But yeah, just so you guys know, that's kind of the history. That's why we're intertwined. That's where we are. And we remember Rich every time this, you know, time of year where, you know, now it's 5 years. And oftentimes people don't get remembered even a year later, but you can definitely tell that this individual, you know, made a big impact in some people's lives. And, you know, for Rich's sake, I'm glad that his legacy lives on in each of us, and that we can carry it on each and every day, and, you know, let those that never knew him kind of know who he was, because he's an important person in a lot of our lives. Because I'll tell you, I don't think we'd be where we are today without Rich. There's no doubt about it. My personal side, yes. Would I do my personal side with, you know, having been in the military and all that other good stuff? Yes. Of course, I'd still be successful in that way, but being successful in a few different ways, I never fathomed it. I kind of thought about it, but I never really saw Rich as kind of that, you know, oh, let me get up on Rich. Let me use his stardom for it. Never really. No, man, it's more or less a respect thing. I want to keep his legacy alive, and he lives within me. And there's sometimes I hear him, you know, and talking to me about the things we talked about in Ohio, and it motivates me to keep going, because there are some days where, like you and like others, man, we feel like quitting, right? And we feel like giving up, and we feel like even when we're doing whatever it takes, it's not enough. But then there comes a day like, you know, today and tomorrow where we're like, oh my God, I can't believe we're about to sign this person. We're about to make this happen. And it happens. And so you keep pushing forward. You keep, you know, doing whatever the fuck it takes. And you realize that it is possible. So on that note, guys, like I said, that's why we're intertwined. That's where we go. That's how far we go back. And now you know the story. So I hope you understand. I hope that gave a little more insight to Chaos Nutrition and where we are, where we've been and where we're about to go. And the evolution continues. And, you know, we're just going to keep getting out there and do whatever it takes to be successful, not just for myself, but for the athletes and everyone involved. And if you're a part of Chaos Nutrition, whether you're purchasing a product or hitting that like button, you're sharing a video, you're commenting, thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to spend a little bit of time to get to know who we are and such. And it really goes a long way, because without you, none of this is possible. So again, hope you're out there staying ride or die for yours, man. Keep getting out there, keep doing whatever the fuck it takes. Understand that, you know, what you're going through, you got to go through it to get to it, right? And there's no easy way out. There's no shortcut home. It's going to be tough, but you're going to make it. Trust me. And if you got a heartbeat, you got an opportunity to make it. And you keep living that way, and you keep pushing forward, keep pushing those limits. And when you're told no, just keep looking for that yes. You're going to find it. So on that note, guys, rest in peace, Rich. I know you're on the other side doing good things and looking down upon us, and you know, you're still pushing us in the right direction. You're still giving us that, you know, that blueprint, that pathway to be successful. And we appreciate you, and we hope on the other side you're doing great things. And till we meet again, rest in peace, Rich. We wouldn't be in this position without you. So on that note, guys, another video with I'm out. Until next time.